When Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement, Hollywood practically erupted. Instagram feeds lit up, champagne bottles popped, and whispers about who might make the wedding guest list spread like wildfire. But while the industry was celebrating, Meghan Markle wasn't exactly raising a glass. Behind closed doors, insiders say Meghan was restless, anxious, frustrated, even spiraling. Why? Because this wasn't just another celebrity fairy tale to her. Meghan had a strategy in motion, and in her eyes, it was starting to collapse. Let's rewind for a moment. For quite some time now, Meghan has been in recovery mode. After the initial buzz of her Netflix docuseries, the second season stumbled badly. Critics who once cautiously praised her flipped almost overnight. What was meant to be a deeper, empowering follow-up came across to many as shallow, awkward, and even desperate. The ratings nosedived, and the cultural conversation around her began to fade. Which brings us back to Taylor and Travis. Their whirlwind romance and engagement weren't just tabloid gold, they were internet-shattering. A superstar singer and an NFL giant wrapped in diamonds, fairy lights, and storybook romance. Meghan didn't just see headlines, she saw an opening. If she could secure Taylor and Travis as guests on her new podcast, she believed it would relaunch her into the A-list orbit. Picture it, the newly engaged couple, sharing their love story exclusively with Meghan. Instant buzz, millions of listeners, sponsors flocking in. But instead of a fairy tale outcome, her plan unraveled quickly. First came Meghan's personal congratulatory video message, sent directly to Taylor's team, a warm, polished gesture that doubled as a subtle invitation. But the response? Silence. Not even a thank you. Undeterred, Meghan's team followed up formally, pitching the couple on appearing in her podcast. They framed it as a relaxed conversation about love, fame, and staying grounded. On paper, it sounded appealing. But Taylor's camp wasn't interested. According to multiple sources, both Taylor and Travis's teams viewed the invite as self-serving. To them, it wasn't about genuine curiosity, it was about Meghan trying to ride their moment for her own benefit. One insider even described it bluntly, it felt like she was piggybacking off the engagement hype. And when the rejection came, it was firm. No interest, no future follow-ups. That hard no reportedly sent shockwaves through Meghan's inner circle. Behind the scenes, tensions exploded. Meghan lashed out at her manager, her agent, even her Netflix contacts. She accused them of botching the pitch, claiming the idea wasn't the problem, the execution was. But the uncomfortable truth was simple, Taylor and Travis just didn't want to be associated with her. Things unraveled further when Meghan floated the idea of including the couple in a holiday special she was planning, brief cameos, nothing demanding. That too was rejected, and this time it cut deeper. Inside her team, the atmosphere soured. Meetings grew tense, calls grew sharp, and Meghan's carefully crafted composure gave way to bouts of anger and long silences. One assistant later described the environment as walking on eggshells. The rejection wasn't just about Taylor and Travis, it symbolized something bigger. If two of the most brand-conscious celebrities alive refused to align with her, what message did that send to everyone else? And indeed, the pattern repeated. Other high-profile names declined politely, some ignored her outreach altogether. Industry whispers grew louder, Meghan's name wasn't bringing in numbers anymore. Determined to push forward, she decided to bankroll the podcast herself. She had the money, but underestimated the realities, studio costs, marketing, coordination, production. Each potential guest felt like a battle to win, not a collaboration. Word began to spread that Meghan was pressing too hard. Agents and PR assistants even warned clients in advance that they might receive a Markle invite, advising them to decline. Taylor and Travis's camp eventually drew such strict boundaries that, according to insiders, even legal action was briefly considered to block further approaches. That kind of wall wasn't just rejection, it was humiliation. And it rattled Meghan deeply. She started questioning everything, her Netflix strategy, her brand deals, her podcast. She even toyed with abandoning guest-driven shows altogether, focusing instead on a solo empire she alone controlled. But as bold as that sounded, she knew the reality. Without big names, there's no buzz. And without buzz, advertisers walk away. Still, she pressed on. Meghan recorded solo episodes, soft, introspective monologues about resilience and rewriting your story when the world tunes out. Heartfelt, yes, but far from the grand vision she'd imagined. The media mocked it as the Meghan Show. Even Spotify, once eager to spotlight her, stayed silent. The numbers trickled in, not disastrous, but far from breakout. Meanwhile, Taylor and Travis's engagement dominated everywhere: paparazzi photos, tabloid covers, endless fan speculation. Every detail became a headline, while Meghan watched from the sidelines, scrolling endlessly. She never admitted it, but insiders say it haunted her, not because she envied their romance, but because she used to be that headline. As months passed, her team began shrinking. Burnout, budget cuts, quiet exits. The ones who stayed couldn't reverse the trend. Meghan pivoted again, developing short-form documentaries about unsung women of influence, a noble idea, but one requiring funding, licensing, and access she couldn't secure alone. Networks politely declined. Some didn't even respond. Even her publicist suggested disappearing for a year, rebranding, and returning refreshed. But Meghan resisted. To her, irrelevance was the ultimate nightmare. And so, while Taylor and Travis continue basking in their engagement spotlight, reports suggest wedding planning is already underway. Meghan sits at a crossroads. Once the most talked about woman on both sides of the Atlantic, she now faces the quiet truth. Without fresh headlines or powerful allies, her voice risks fading into the background. Sparkles just recently, insiders noted that Meghan is quietly exploring independent streaming deals, hoping that bypassing Hollywood gatekeepers might finally give her back some control. Whether that gamble pays off, or becomes yet another misstep, remains to be seen.